I bet a lot of the Star Wars The Last Jedi fans were happy with this one. Scream! Released in 2022 and is directed by Matt Beltinelli Open and Tyler Gillette, who are also behind such films like Ready or Not, Devil's Due, VHS, and the soon-to-be-released Scream 6, which would technically make this Scream 5, even though they call it just Scream, which is like the current day thing to do with horror franchises. If you want to make a sequel that's not really a sequel, it's kind of a reboot. It's a requel, as they call it in this movie, which I've never heard before, but it makes so much frickin' sense to make it more marketable and to make it seem like, oh, hey, see, it's a brand new thing. We've rebooted it, when actually it's a sequel. Apparently they're just totally skipping that with Scream 6 because maybe people got way too confused, maybe like I did, and they're putting the number on it. I don't know. It reminds me of WWE and WrestleMania. Back in the day, they were proud to put the number on the end of it, but then the whole 30s of WrestleMania, they dropped the number completely, and it's finally coming back for WrestleMania 40. So, yeah, that's my little tirade on WrestleMania. It's WrestleMania season, so I got wrestling on the brain, so sue me. And this movie is starring Melissa Barrera, Mason Gooding, Jenna Ortega, Jack Quaid, Marley Shelton, Courtney Cox, Dylan Minnette, and former WCW champion David Arquette. It's been another 11 years since the events of the previous film, Scream 4, and little Tara Carpenter is attacked and almost murdered in her home. But since she is on the mend, her estranged sister Sams finally decides to show up and take care of her. But it seems like the Ghostface killer is targeting her now, and a bunch of brand new teenagers in Woodsboro. Now the new teenagers are looking to some familiar faces to aid them and to educate them on how the Ghostface killer works. That's right, all of these Gen Zers need the help from the boomers. So they pull out their little cell phones and they dial their little speed dial numbers and they call the boomers David Arquette and Courtney Cox, who apparently is bulletproof even though she's shot in the gut in this frickin' movie. And then the old boomers come and they save the day. Yes, and Neve Campbell does show up here as Sydney, who I said it in my last review and I'm saying it again here. She's done. She is like, why am I here? This is the paycheck. I'm okay with the paycheck. But why does everyone try to keep murdering my character? It all comes back to Sydney. Why? I'm shocked that she's not in the 6th film. I did read an article saying that she wasn't coming back because she wasn't happy about the offer that she received to go do Scream 6, which... It's like, what was the offer for Scream 4 and then this movie? Because you definitely seem like you don't want to be there, but you're happy with the paycheck. So what was different about Scream 6's payday that you were like, nope, that what I'm done with? It's okay though, she shows up here and we get a whole bunch of nostalgia like we do with a bunch of these requels, which I think is such a cool phrase. It explains a lot of what's happening, or a lot of what's happened really since, I would say, Batman Begins came out in 2005, where studios were like, oh hey, it's okay to reboot our popular franchise into something different with a different tone. And then even with Star Trek in 2009, where it was kind of that first requel where it's a brand new cast, we have a brand new style, but we're also acknowledging what came before it. That's what's happening in this movie, and I appreciate it. I do like this brand new cast of characters for the most part. Jenna Ortega, I think, is great in this movie, and she's just blown up over the last couple of years because of this movie, and then also with Netflix TV show Wednesday. She's great. I love seeing her on screen. She has a great presence about her. It's the actress who plays her sister, Melissa Barrera, who is terrible. She has a moment in here where she's delivering, it's like a soliloquy basically, explaining why she feels the way she does and the terrible secrets that she's learned about her family. She's delivering it to her friends, and it's awful. I'm so sad, and it's just been so terrible here. I'm really reading from this script that's right in front of my face, because I have no choice. I can't put emotion behind anything. She was awful. I wish the Ghostface killer would have taken her out, but, you know, if you've seen the trailer for Scream 6, you know, she and Jenna Ortega survive. But this one was a really fun one figuring out who the killer was, especially for me, since I figured it out right the fucking away. There's a delivery style of the Ghostface killer when they're on the phone talking to their victim that I recognize this cadence. I've heard it many times before, and I heard the way that this person delivers a lot of lines. So hearing it here, I was like, oh, I know who that is. There they are. They're on screen. So yeah, I got it. Got it in the first 5 minutes. Hadab! That's the millennial in me, just trying to be cool like a Gen Zer, but just not as old as a boomer. So, yeah, here we go. There's also the moment in here where one of the teenagers is explaining what a requel is and explains the rules of a requel. Again, the Scream franchise is all about film, and it's all about the meta ideas of horror films and film tropes inside this movie. And she's explaining the rules of a requel. And through her discussion and their discussion with her about requels, you can tell that the screenwriters really just took all from Twitter and all social media platforms from all the haters of Star Wars The Last Jedi. They're talking about how it divided fandom and how the lead character is a Mary Sue, and how it tries so hard to reinvent the franchise when really it just turns out to be shit. At first you think they're talking about Scream, but no, they're talking about Star Wars here, and that put a frickin' smile on my face. Because I feel the same way about The Last Jedi. It's one of those movies that it's like half great, and then the other half is like, what the fuck are you doing? And what it did for the Star Wars fandom, just basically splitting it down the middle, and if you felt one way, the other side completely hates you. If you felt the other way about it, the other side completely hates you and takes you down online. It's toxic. It's terrible. So bravo to the screenwriters for this movie and that little segment. I absolutely loved it. And I like the callbacks of this movie. That's what a requel does. It plays on nostalgia, and we actually find ourselves ending up in the house from the original Scream movie. And I was like, oh, that's cool. It looked familiar, but, you know, they weren't really letting us know about it until they pan out and they show the entire thing. I'm like, oh, that's cool. But the whole thing about Sam not wanting to be a part of her family because of the secret that she learned, I just, like, why does that matter? Why does it matter who you find out who is actually your father? Like, why does that play into who you are? Why do you think you're going to turn into that person if they were a bad person? It's just genetics, just part of your DNA. It has nothing to do with the person that you've become. You're 18 years old. Like, you've developed yourself. It's silly. It's a stupid reason that Hollywood likes to fall back on of finding out, oh, who's my father? Or who's my mother? And that's going to influence who I am and my life. No, really doesn't. Especially if you learn it later on in life. Plays nothing. So very much like Scream 4, I'm torn with this movie because I do like some of the newer aspects. Seeing some of our old characters come back and finally get the comeuppings that they've been needing for the last couple of movies. Like, how they survived the other movies, I don't know, but some of them finally bite the dust here in the end, which made me happy. It's like, okay, finally, they can lay to rest. They need to. But then you also see performances like Neve Campbell, and hell, even Courtney Cox in here. They're here just collecting a paycheck. Like, yeah, it's Scream. It's helped me establish my name, so I'm back. Here we are. Cool. Why don't you shoot me a couple of times? Because I'm not going to feel it at all. Scream or Scream 5, I would say, as of now, is my favorite sequel of the franchise. I think it was great in some points. A lot of the kills, I think, were a lot bloodier and more visceral. There's one where Ghostface is just slowly shoving a knife into one of the kids' neck, and he's just slowly bleeding out. And I just thought, oh, that's a shitty way to go, just kind of looking into the face of your killer the entire time. But hey, it's effective. I love leading up to that kill too, because they play off of the jump scare and the door closing scare and looking around the corner scare. They play it up for a good 5-10 minutes of this guy going through the kitchen, going through the house, opening doors, and then closing it to where you think, oh, the killer's gonna pop out, and they never do. And it takes a while for him to actually show up. It's fun. I'm still interested to see where this franchise goes in Scream 6. How this keeps happening, I don't know. Who keeps putting on this frickin' mask? You think they would completely outlaw it now? Like, they would make the ghost face mask illegal because someone always puts it on and just murders people. You think they would just do away with it? But they probably won't, because, you know, this is America and rats, and I have a right to put that ghost face on my face because this is America. And forefathers died, so I had the right to put a ghost face on my face.
so I can go around and kill teenagers. That's right. This is America.
I'm gonna give Scream 3 out of 5 Blu-rays.
Not exactly what I had in mind, but not bad.
So guys, have you seen Scream? What did you think about it? What is your ranking of all the Scream films that have come out so far? I'll be checking out Scream 6 this weekend, but whatever you thought, comment below, let me know what you thought about it. And as always, if you like what you see here, if you like my take on movies, then hit the subscribe button and make sure you hit that bell so you know the next time I'm releasing my next movie review. So guys, I will see you next time on the channel, but in the meantime, be well, be good to each other, and go watch a movie. Take care, guys.